The rise, fall, and redemption of Mr. B's farm. When Mr. B and his wife Sita left the lush rice fields of Guyana, they carried nothing but 2 battered suitcases, dreams bigger than the Atlantic, and their handsome young son, Trevor. Canada, with its cold winters and endless opportunities, called to them like a beacon. They settled in Caledon, Ontario, a rural town known for its rolling hills, scenic farms, and small but wealthy communities, about an hour's drive northwest of Toronto. Life in Caledon wasn't easy. The winters were brutal. Snow would bury their old wooden farmhouse almost to the roof. Mr. B, who once toiled under the hot Guyanese sun, now fought frostbite while tending the little plot of land they could afford. They grew vegetables, cabbage, tomatoes, and most famously eggplants, which thrived in Ontario's warm, humid summers. By the time their daughter Va was born, the farm had grown into a decent operation, but something about Va was different from the start. She was wild, fierce, and rebellious. A monster, Mr. B would mutter under his breath whenever she stormed off after one of their countless arguments. She was nothing like her older brother Trevor, who had left home at 18 to carve his own destiny in Edmonton, Alberta, over 3,000 kilometers away. Trevor had broken the family's generational curse of poverty. With sheer grit, he started a small drywall company, which later grew into Trevor Builders Ltd., one of the most respected construction firms in Western Canada. He lived in a beautiful house in Edmonton's prestigious Windermere neighbourhood, driving a brand new black Ram 3500 and managing million-dollar contracts. Thanks to him, money started flowing back home to Caledon. But while Trevor rose, trouble brewed on the farm. Va had taken up with Zim, a rugged, tattooed mobile mechanic with a long beard and a pickup truck full of rusting tools and busted alternators. Together, they came up with a plan, a wicked one. Instead of helping Mr. B and Sita expand the farm, they would slowly transform it into a junkyard. Zim started parking broken tractors, dead pickup trucks, and piles of greasy parts behind the barns. Neighbours began complaining. Township officials even sent warning letters. Caledon, proud of its pristine rural landscape, did not take kindly to unsightly properties. But Va and Zim didn't care. They wanted the farm. They wanted to force Mr. B and Sita out, to make the family homestead a sprawling scrapyard and mechanic shop, where Zim could rule like a greasy king. The tension in the house was unbearable. Sita cried often at night. Mr. B, once strong as a bull, grew thin and silent, often retreating to the old shed to smoke and stare at the fields that were slowly turning into junkyard hell. When Trevor heard what was happening, he booked the first flight out of Edmonton. He arrived in Caledon on a rainy April afternoon, the familiar scent of wet earth and lilacs hitting his senses. When he pulled up the gravel driveway, his heart broke. Where once green fields stretched toward the horizon, now old Massey Ferguson tractors and rusting Hondas dotted the landscape like scars. Trevor didn't waste time. He sat Va and Zim down at the battered kitchen table, still covered with Sita's embroidered tablecloth from Guyana. His voice, calm but steely, laid out a simple ultimatum. "I'm buying you both a shop, in Brampton, fully paid. You leave Mom and Dad's farm alone. No more junk here." Va, for the first time in her life, looked ashamed. Zim, tempted by the idea of a legitimate garage, agreed without much fight. Trevor wired them the money the next day and signed the paperwork for Z&V Auto Repair, located in a busy industrial park off Steeles Avenue. With the chaos gone, Mr. B and Sita could finally breathe again. Over the next 2 years, they poured love and sweat back into the land. Trevor, who visited often, funded the construction of new greenhouses and an irrigation system. Mr. B specialized the farm in eggplants, a daring move that paid off as demand soared in local farmers' markets and Toronto's bustling Caribbean and South Asian communities. Their farm, now called Golden Soil Acres, became famous for producing the richest, most tender eggplants in southern Ontario. Var and Zim, now running a successful auto shop with a waiting list months long, often came by to help around the farm. Var had softened. She laughed more. She even helped her mother cook pepper pot and bake flatbread on weekends. As for Trevor, he stood proud, knowing that not only had he broken the cycle of poverty, but he had helped heal the family too. On clear days, you could stand on the hill behind the farmhouse and see rows upon rows of purple eggplants stretching to the horizon, shining under the Caledon sun. A kingdom rebuilt not with greed, but with love.